Yes, guys, you do have the right to judge me. That is unbelievable. My garden is completely overgrown. While it's been super productive, especially the fruit trees, but guys, so have the weeds. The weeds are also super productive. Anyway, today's video, we're just gonna do some cleanup of the vegetable area. It's almost September, guys. We're getting to the end of August now. So I want to kind of prepare my beds, even though here in Central Florida, I personally do not plant until like towards the end of October when it starts cooling down. But still, I want to kind of start to get things ready. It's not going to be all done today, but let's start getting things ready. All right, guys, cleanup day. Tell the truth, I am a little bit scared to go over here. Jeez, look at this, guys. Cosmos growing through the weed block in the walkway. All over here is the Murasaki sweet potato. Oops, the Murasaki sweet potatoes beginning to flower, but I definitely don't think they're ready. All of this is the African yam, the white yams. I don't see them setting seeds yet, so I definitely want to get rid of that. Still have white yams from last year in the freezer, so I don't want to grow these white yams anymore. Anyway, these are considered invasive. These are the Diasauri alata. They form seed pods. The seeds drop, and anywhere the seeds drop, they spring yams. So I literally have yams over there on that trellis where I didn't plant yams. Yams over here, even though I've cut the vines, and they're all over. So over here are the Jamaican sweet potatoes, and they have basically taken over my Scotch bonnets. They have run all the way over, covered the bed where the okras are, and moved into that area. Back there, let me show you guys. I'm being transparent today. I'm always transparent, but I'm really transparent today. That over there is the one stick of cassava I planted on the ground. I not planted, I just rested it on the side of the greenhouse. And that one cassava stick has become a monster. Look at this. It's taller than the roof. It's literally taller than my rooftop, my house. Look at that. That's one cassava stick. It's the biggest cassava I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. Let me back up. That is the biggest cassava I've ever seen. It's taken over half of the shed. It's taken over the greenhouse. I'm not going to do the cassava today. I'm going to do a separate cassava video. Guys, if you guys need cassava slips, please let me know. I obviously now have tons of cassava slips. In here, guys, this is my longevity spinach. I'm going to do a video on it. Longevity spinach is super, super healthy. I've already done videos on it in the past, but I'm in the middle of my medicinal plant videos, and this longevity spinach is super healthy. This was one small pot of spinach that I had on the ground, literally outside here, and it must have fallen over, touched root, and now it's all over my greenhouse. So this is, guys, believe it or not, that's the greenhouse. You can't even walk in there anymore. Anyway, today we're gonna focus on this area. It is a little scary. Weeds are everywhere, but I have to be able to walk around here. And I don't want to encourage rats. I don't want to encourage snakes. It's really bad. It's really bad. All right, guys. I'm gonna see what I can do. Setting the camera up. All right. So I have on my big girl pants and boots. So I just have to set fear aside and jump right in. I'm using my Farmer's Defense sleeves and gloves, as you can see. So I'm protecting my arms, and I have my boots on just to make sure if there are any snakes, that I can step on it with the boots. So first thing, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm just going in, pulling as many vines as I can. Then I'm cutting whatever vines are in the chicken wire. It's making it a little bit more difficult for me because of the chicken wire, because the vines literally grew through the chicken wire. And here you see me trying to pull the yam vines off my downspout. However, I want to make sure I don't damage my downspout, so I'm just cutting it. So, one step at a time, just going through and cutting. You can see there is some progress. it wasn't as bad pulling out the vines out of the Jamaican sweet potato, but we a bed, but we got a ton of vines, as you can see. All right, so let me show you what I've done so far. Of course, I weed whack all of this, and guys, this is a work in progress. This is like a huge difference. I can actually walk now. I cleared up all the sweet potatoes, the Jamaican sweet potatoes from this bed. Not all of them, but basically cleared it up, weed whacked everything down. I put mountains of stuff that I pulled up. Let me show you. Put them over here. You can see I have mountains of sweet potato, the 2 sweet potato vines, weeds, Spanish needles. Dump some over there. It was like a mountain. I'm just dropping these here. I have to kind of watch it though. Of course, these will eventually break down and feed the soil, which is great. But because they're sweet potato vines, these will probably set roots and I'll end up having sweet potatoes everywhere. So I'm gonna kind of watch what I do here. But guys, you can see huge difference. One huge mistake that I made, the sweet potatoes, the Jamaican sweet potatoes, were so much that they actually jumped over and they started setting roots throughout my okra bed. So that's a huge no. You can see there are actually roots in here which are bad, because then I'm gonna start getting sweet potatoes all the time in here. You'll see some Cuban oregano throughout the bed. 1, 2, 3 plants coming up. I did not plant them here, but I did do a massive chop back on the Cuban oregano several months back, and I did chop and drop throughout different beds, because the Cuban oregano, the smell of the Cuban oregano will kind of repel bugs. Plus, of course, they'll break down and feed the soil. However, some of them, these are extremely easy to root. I literally just chopped and dropped it, and you can see 3 plants coming up. So I'm gonna pull these out because I do not want this to overtake. I removed most of the okra. I'm gonna remove the rest of these okra plants. Some milkweed also popped up. I'm gonna remove the milkweed, or I may leave one milkweed. I pulled out most of my cosmos. They're both basically done. And I do have several cosmos that's popping up throughout the garden. This was an okra, a seed that fell in the corner of this bag. So this one has just started flowering and fruiting. So I'll leave this one, but everything else is gonna go. As you can see, I can now walk back here. You can see I pulled all the vines off my dung spout. I can walk back here. We have the longevity spinach in here still. As I said, guys, it's one pot that spread up and took over this whole area. I chopped back most of the Spanish needle or Biden's alba. I chopped most of them back, but I still need to pull out a lot. And then, guys, of course, all of that there is a cassava that I will do a harvest video. I just kind of push down the weeds from here. Tomorrow I'll come back and just finish. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna finish, but I'm gonna continue cleaning up this area. I did pull out most of the purple pumpkin peppers. You can see there's still, this one still has some peppers on it. These are the purple pumpkin peppers. They're small. They start off purple, and then when they're ripe, they're red. So they start off small. I mean, they stay this size. They're very small. But basically, this bed is empty. Over here, we have, excuse me, Miss Panchy. Okay. Over here we have Panchy, and the twins are trying to help me with the weeding, which I don't mind. There seems to be a very large yam here, so you know it's food. I'm gonna dig it up. I decided to leave most of the sweet potatoes. I decided to leave all the Borosaka sweet potatoes. The bed is completely overtaken. They probably are not ready to harvest, so I'll just wait until I'm ready to plant and then dig them up, put on fresh soil, because the soil level is probably going to fall, and replant. But at least now I can walk down the aisle. You know, I chopped all the branches, all the vines that were coming down into the walkway. I chopped them back. And then of course I left my flowers. These zinnias, guys, are excellent as cut flowers. I have some in my garden that I cut when I did, which video did I do? Oh yeah, when I did my devotional video last Sunday. I cut several and put them in the house, and they're still beautiful. And then guys, look what showed up now that we cut back all the bush. Guys, we have some beautiful blue butterfly peas that I knew I had some, but I didn't really notice them before because this place was just so overgrown. So I have my blue butterfly peas. These flowers are very medicinal. I have several videos out on them that you can go in and look. Here I started doing some weeding. This is really just like one or two large weeds that just spread through over the soil. When I started pulling it up, let me show you. When I started pulling it up, I noticed that the soil under it is really, really good. Very moist. So these weeds are kind of acting like protection for the soil. So I'll leave these weeds on there for now because the soil looks really, really good underneath there. My peppers, my Scotch bonnet pepper is flowering now, and it's looking really green and healthy. So I'm hoping this comes back. I'm actually gonna do a video soon on adding how to make calcium readily available, because I noticed in this bed some of the Scotch bonnets that I harvested from this bed over here had some blossom end rot. So I haven't been using a lot of calcium in my beds lately, so it looks like it's ready for another treatment. So we'll do that together. But that's it, guys. That's today's cleanup video. You know, it's a work in progress. I'm gonna do a separate video for my Cuban oregano or Jamaican broadleaf thyme, because it's really out of control and it killed all my plants that were below it. Oh, I didn't show you over here. So over here, guys, I literally had milkweed and Spanish needles that were taller than me. I'm 5'6". The milkweed and Spanish needles were taller than me. So I weed whacked. Woo! This bees. I weed whacked and I pushed some stuff down. You can see. Woo! A sweet potato came up with it. But all of this, guys, all of this over here. Oh, look like I left a clipper back here. I don't know how long this has been here. I left some clippers back here. Okay. All right, so good. So this was probably from last year. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. As I said, the Cuban oregano I'll get another time. I did pull out a lot of milkweed, but I left a couple here. And then the sweet potatoes, we'll do that later on in the year. Okay, guys, that's it for today's video. Till next time. Bye now.